Now, let's begin with the conversation regarding immigration reform. Now, Paul Ryan said on the Sunday shows that he would not work with the Obama administration on changing immigration policy. This effectively pushes off any work on this until 2017. He said simply he couldn't trust the president on the issue. Well, we have with us this morning an attorney on the front lines of this debate and an expert on immigration reform. Eric Cedillo is here. Eric, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
I don't know enough about your viewpoint on this to determine whether this is a wise move or the only move that the new speaker has.
Well, I think it was perhaps his only move. I think you can probably gain my perspective from that. I think he was given his marching orders. He was told that we needed to take immigration out of the debate. And, they're probably from the folks who got him in there. He was reluctant to become speaker, and I'm sure a conversation was had that basically said, hey, go out there and we're going to take immigration out of the issue.
I'm wondering, is there any way to actually get this debate started in a way that will be kind and respectful and actually come up with a solution? And frankly, I don't know how you do that without standing up that very first domino, which is border security.
Yeah, well, I think it's very hard, and quite honestly, in 2017, where if you look at it realistically, this is where it might happen. We need to get past this presidential cycle, I believe, before the Republican Party would even address it. And as most people know, that Paul Ryan is probably the most important individual with respect to the possibility of immigration reform out there. So it doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon, but what I think we need to do is perhaps, separate, I know it's difficult, but separate the issues of border security and the folks who are currently here. I mean, we're dealing with individuals, and that's who immigration reform really deals with. There should be two separate issues. We're dealing with lots of folks who are currently here and could contribute immensely to our economy, shore up our Social Security reserves, things of that nature. So they really should be separated. And the Republicans have talked about that possibility, in terms of separating these things out. So hopefully in 2017 we have that conversation, we have that debate. It becomes less polarizing after the presidential elections, and something can actually move.
Okay, but separating issues, how do you separate those who are here illegally with those who have perhaps just overstayed?
That's a good question. I think what lots of people don't realize is that the most of the newly arrived undocumented folks are folks who are overstaying. People overstaying their visas, things of that nature. Less a sieve at the border in terms of people coming across. I think we've gone a long ways over the last few years to shore up our borders, with technology and other things, and the increase in the number of Border Patrol agents. It's never going to be a situation where we're going to be able to completely shut down the border, but that is a very good question. At the very least, we have the ability for those folks who have visas, we know who they are, they're part of the process, and we could, direct efforts if they are the people that are the priority in terms of getting them out of the country, which, lots of them may not be. Lots of people who do overstay and are actually contributing, student visas, people who are attending school and perhaps doing something else. That may not be the priority for the country, but those are conversations that we need to have. Those are the ones that we need to determine, what really constitutes what we're trying or who we're trying to get rid of out of the country.
Last question. Do you think the president will use executive orders again regarding amnesty before he's through?
I don't think so. I think that's probably it. I think we're waiting on the Fifth Circuit to determine what's going to happen with DACA and DAPA. Once they make that determination, either way, it's going to be appealed to the Supreme Court. And I think that takes us past the presidential election. I think things will actually be dealt with by Congress in the 2017. I'm hoping the 2017. When they get together then. So I don't think that the president is going to do anything new until he leaves the White House.
Thank you, Eric. Great to have you on our show. I appreciate your calm demeanor on a very divisive issue. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you betcha. That's Eric Cedillo, an expert on immigration reform, an attorney also on the front lines of this critical debate in our nation, which is certainly divisive. We've seen that in debates, for example. Every candidate has a different approach to the problem, and some are not very popular.